Like that right there. Look at that. Look at that. What is going on, LBHT crew? It is a Tuesday night at 9:51 p.m. Eastern time, so that means there has to be some breaking news because I don't do these late streams on Tuesdays. All right. I was actually here setting up for tomorrow morning's show as well as tomorrow night's show. So for those reasons, I definitely won't be here that long. But you guys know the news. This just happened. I mean, I just got word of this about an hour ago while I was running some errands. Maxx Crosby will not be a Raven after all. The Ravens nixed that deal. They say he did not pass his physical. More details will come on that. And yeah, that is disappointing. This is coming from somebody that, wasn't, like I said before, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. But that is, a very good, talented player that we were expecting to have. And now he's not here. And, that combined with the other moves that the Ravens didn't make and players leaving, they are in a very, very bad situation right now. However, like I said, like I've been saying this whole offseason, like I said, when we traded for Maxx Crosby, like I said, first day of the legal tampering period, I'm going to reserve my judgment until the whole most of the offseason has run its course, because there are still a lot of moves that can be made. It looks bad for sure. It looks really bad. But listen, man, there's still players out there that we can get to where this team will be stacked, right? But this tells me that the Lamar deal isn't done, right? This tells me that they thought the deal was done, and then Lamar didn't sign, and they got nervous. That's why they didn't bring back a lot of players, because they were trying to find the cap room to make this Maxx Crosby deal happen. And they couldn't find enough in time for the deadline for getting under the cap, which is tomorrow, I believe, at 4 p.m. So on Lamar's side, what's Lamar thinking? I'm thinking he's thinking what I'm thinking. If you're not going to make an investment in me, I'm cool. I'll just pay out my contract until you figure things out. Why would I give you more money to make these type of deals? That's what I'm thinking. Because if the money's there, everything's good, there's no reason to not extend. And I still think that an extension is going to happen. I think he's playing a little bit of hardball, right? Like, why wouldn't you? If you keep saying these are things that you need for the team and they're not getting it for you, at some point, you got to get their attention some way. And this is a perfect way for that to happen. Oh, man, you guys are in here. Oh, 100 people in here already? Dang, I only went live for 3 minutes. I like to get warmed up first, but y'all ready to talk. And we got a super chat from JR. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to JR. Says, Jose, man, I don't know what to make of this. When the reports is saying it's bad business by the Ravens, EDC was losing sleep giving up those first 2 round picks. those 2 first round picks. I don't trust EDC, man. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't. I will say this: the Ravens have done this before, not to this level, but involving first round picks in a player of this caliber. But they've done it a couple of times to players in the past. Michael Brockers, Ryan Grant. Those are 2 players that I think there's another one before that, a safety or something like that, where they're like, yeah, we'll do the trade, and right before he's about to sign, they're like, something came up with your shoulder, we don't like it. So the Ravens do have a history. It's not that often that these things happen, but there is a history of doing this. Danity, what's going on? Says hashtag fire EDC. I hear y'all. Man, y'all filled up in here fast. You guys are pissed. Irvin says this morning or tomorrow morning is going to be interesting. Yes, which is why I'm not going to be here long. I got set up for tomorrow morning show. Make sure you guys turn your notification bells on. 6:15 a.m. And unfortunately, I'm not going to have a 2-hour stream like I did this morning. I gotta be on time tomorrow. So 30 to 45 minutes. We'll see. But tomorrow night, LBHT show. B won't be here this week. He's in Portugal. But it'll be myself, Hendo, and Ferris. All right. So we're going to be talking a whole lot of this. A whole lot of this. Especially Ferris. Ferris is a Giants fan. A lot of our players went over there, including Pat Ricard. So it's going to be interesting. What's up, Jared? There you go. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. Rome Jr. says, crazy work. Yeah. Pay the bills. Salute. Ashley, salute. Who else we got in here? Marcus Frazier, salute. Alfonso, what's going on? Says, well, we got Maxx Crosby. Oops. Ed Munn says, yay. I wonder about your thoughts. Hey, we're it's not good. This is not good, right? But that doesn't mean that we're done making moves. Like we can still stack this team. AJ Brown or Jettas and sign Bradley Chubb. That's a possibility. I'm curious about how, like, for the people that were saying, hey, listen, for the offense, because I saw a lot of this when we didn't make the moves on offense, and there are some people that are like, hey man, look, can't spend the money on Tyler Linderbaum. You can't go out and make these big moves on offense like you want. We don't have all the money in the world. You can't make all these big time acquisitions, and we gotta be responsible with how we spend our money. Okay, so how do you feel now for the defense? Because we always say that for the offense. Defense, we've never talked about how much money is being spent on defense. It's only when it comes to the offense, then we start pinching pennies. We start counting how much money we have, right? Well, the Maxx Crosby deal is off. We have our 2 first-round picks back. We can make another trade out there. It's some people are reporting that AJ Brown, the Eagles are willing to move off of him for a first and a second. Guess what? We have a first and a second. So if we made that deal instead of now that the Maxx Crosby deal is next, are you guys okay with that? And we just say, hey man, we'll figure it out, edge rusher. Because my honest opinion, I like Maxx Crosby. I thought Maxx Crosby just put us in a different level with his skills. But I felt like this defense was going to turn up without Maxx Crosby, because we have a much, much better coaching staff here. Everybody's on the same page. I feel like we do have some young talent that just weren't put in the right situations last year. And with this coaching staff, they are going to be in the right situation, and the defense will look completely different. We didn't need to go and get Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby was icing on the cake. But him not being here now does not doom this defense. One player can't doom a defense, right? It can't make or break a defense, because he didn't make the defense for the Raiders last year. So if you think our defense is that bad, then he wasn't going to make a difference anyway, right? So it's tough. It is tough, but there is still time for things to happen, right? There's still time. The biggest thing that they need to be concerned about is getting Lamar's deal done by 4:00 to get under the cap. Adelia, what's going on? Says, working for LBHT and Roll Pod this past season has made me realize how dysfunctional the Ravens actually are. Wow. Facts. From the outside looking in, because the media always paints the Ravens as this, as a world-class organization, it's frustrating knowing the things that they don't get done. But like Adelia said, Adelia is a Denver Broncos fan. She's starting to see the dysfunction going on here. And it's jarring. It is. That's crazy. My man Will G is here. Will, it's good to see you, man. Hope you're doing all right. So what's up, guys? If Max is healthy, it ends up a Giant, Chief, or Patriot, I'm going to lose it. That better be a shredded, torn meniscus in his left knee. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm really curious to see what really happened here, right? Is it they looked at it because you knew he's coming off of surgery. Like, I think 2 years he's coming off of surgery. Like, did they look at it and say, nah, this is going to get worse? He's 29 years old. He's going to be I'm not sure when he turns 30. He's 29 years old. That knee doesn't look like it's going to get better. And we don't want to invest that much in him. Or is it, man, we thought we are going to have more money to play around with here. Lamar ain't signed the deal. And, you know, maybe this ain't the right move for us right now. That's going to be interesting. Some people think, the Ravens are acting in bad faith, but I guess we'll never know. Like you knew he wasn't going to pass the physical because of his knee, right? Like that was a known issue. I felt like that's something they could just overlooked and said, all right, we know about that. Don't worry about that. Everything else is good. So that is tough. John Wayne says EDC cooking. Man, you guys, there's already 138 people in here. I ain't been streaming for 10 minutes. Wow. Hit that like button. If you're new in here, hit the subscribe button. We are trying to reach 4,000 subscribers by the draft. I think we could do that. I think we're at 3,300 right now. I think we can hit 4,000. Lofty goal, but that's what I like to do. I like to make lofty goals over here. All right. What else we got in here? We dodged the bullet, boys, says West Indian. I don't think we dodged the bullet. I think Maxx Crosby would have worked out well here. The things that are frustrating me are the lack of activity on the offense. And I don't know Lamar. I don't know anybody in this camp. This is just my feeling. This is how I feel. I'm guessing this might be a little bit of how he feels. He was getting blown up too much in the backfield last season. The O-line was one of the worst in the league, specifically our guards. He was visibly mad at times that how they couldn't protect. And, now where you have opportunity to get better, you trade 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby, who's an excellent player. And then you go into, pre-free agency, essentially free agency. And the first thing you do is bring back John Simpson, who was Falele before Falele. Okay. And by all metrics is just slightly better than Falele and Voorhees. That's almost like you're openly dissing him with all the players, all the guards that are available. That's what you start with. And you give him starter money. It's like you're saying, hey, man, not only are we not going to help you, this is what we think about you. We're just going to bring back John Simpson. That's how little we think about you. Okay, that's what you think, man. I ain't got to give back anything. And shout out to Bazel, man, for getting the membership. Who got the membership here? Appreciate that. Does this show who got it? Will G. Congratulations, Will G. All right, so Will, you can be a part of the overtime show tomorrow. And if anybody wants to be a part of the overtime show, that happens after the main show, usually like around 9:30 or so. That's part of our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHTShow, or you can become a channel member for just $5 a month. That also gets you access to our Discord. And I gotta say this, because a lot of people that signed up and then they don't keep the membership. That's fine. Once you're in the Discord, you're in the Discord. You're in there for life unless you do something to get kicked out. So if you sign up for a month and then, hey, look, price of everything going up. You ain't got the money 1 month and you just want to stay in the Discord. That's perfectly fine. Okay. We're building a community over there. Marcus Frazier, appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat. Says now all those EDC protectors are now scrambling for excuses about the bad trade. Yeah. EDC was never a top 5 GM. EDC about to be fired real soon. Well, I agree. He was never a top 5 GM. I don't think he's going to get fired real soon. He still has an opportunity here. I got to stress that. This is not a this is not the kiss of death here. This is not something where it's like, okay, he's got to get fired now. I don't think so anyway. Right. Okay. So let me ask you, what if tomorrow morning he announces AJ Brown is a Raven? We traded a first round pick next year, second round pick this year, because that's what they're saying. They'll take a first and second. I would prefer it be first next year, so we can use our first round pick this year to get a guard. But if he made that trade for AJ Brown and we give a first and second round pick, and Lamar gets re-signed, he gets extended. and we go and sign Wyatt Teller. Wyatt Teller's still out there, or Joel Bitonio, somebody like that. Are you back in? I would be. I would say, okay, cool. Because edge rusher, Trey Hendrickson is still out there. Trey Hendrickson is not going to make the money he wants to make, he thought he would make. So we might be able to still grab him. And even if we don't, that's fine. That's fine. We can figure out the edge rusher position. I think the defense as a whole is already going to play better. We just drafted Mike Green. Y'all don't like Mike Green anymore? I think Mike Green is going to be fine. So there's still moves to be made. We gotta wait and see. But it does not look good. It does not look good. Just go after Chubb. Yeah, go after Bradley Chubb. The concern is injuries with Bradley Chubb, right? Not skill, it's injuries. Trey, hell no. Trey can play. But again, the concern is injuries, right? And he's a little bit older. But Trey Hendrickson can play. Like we're not talking about bums here. These guys are good. You know, these guys are good. If you want a premier edge rusher, well, you should have passed my man Maxx Crosby. He's physical. That's what you should have done. But the other move is move up in the draft and get Ruben Bain. You can do that. Be more Mark. Salute. Thank you for the super chat. Says EDC took a shot at greatness, but it didn't work out. Yeah. I'm curious as to why it didn't work out. You know, these failed physicals, I don't know. Tay got it. What's going on? Says we have only lost players. Front office got to get active last week. Facts. Danny says roster looks like a rebuild. EDC has been horrendous. Yes, that's the concerning thing. But you notice where are all the losses coming from? Just one side of the ball. Offense. Well, not just one side, because we didn't resign Alohi Gilman technically, right? But it's the offense. Can't pay for Tyler Linderbaum, right? Can't bring back Keaton Mitchell. You know, can't do that. Can't bring back who we just lose, Pat Ricard. Can't bring back Isaiah Likely. Can't bring back our punter. Everything seems to be affecting that side of the ball, not the defensive side of the ball. And another thing that's cracking me up out here, and we got 187 people in here. Jeez, you guys, you guys are mad. The thing that's cracking me up is I'm seeing some of these EDC / company bootlickers, defenders, right, out there blaming Lamar Jackson for this. They're saying, "Hey, this is on Lamar. Okay, this is Lamar's fault because we need cap, and he's not doing his part to give us cap room." When has it been the player's responsibility to make sure the organization is fiscally responsible with their cap space? Especially a team that always likes to tout how responsible they are, right? They gloat about not partaking in the first wave of free agency because they don't play that game. They're not going to overpay for anybody because they're responsible with their money. That's what they're known for. But now you need your quarterback to help you out with your cap because you can't sign anybody. But you went out and made this trade for a player that you're going to have to kick a lot of money to. Whose fault is that? I'll tell you what. Lamar Jackson, and I'll have the numbers tomorrow. Me and B were talking about it earlier. The money that they're talking about Lamar Jackson can save them. You can still get that money. You can get that money from Roquan. You can get that money from Marlon Humphrey. You can get that money from Matabike. You can restructure their deals. Why won't you touch them? Hashtag defund the defense. But you want your MVP, the person that's been carrying this team, you want him to rework his deal so you can make these signings. You can make these signings now. Rework some of these deals on defense. Be more Mark. Appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Says new coaching staff is a rebuild. We have to let them cook. Likely got less than what the Ravens offered them. I'm not sure. What did the Ravens offer him? I don't think the Ravens offered him that. I think he would have taken that. Uh-oh. My screen went out. That was weird. Okay. What was that about? I don't think I don't think that they offered him more. Right? They always there's always the Ravens are always interested. They're always interested and they always miss out. It's just wild. Donovan Carter, appreciate that super chat. Says we're losing players on the offensive side of the ball instead of defensive side because our defense was trash. Who's there to purge? Yeah, I mean, let's see. Our defense was trash. Let's see. Yes, the defense was trash, but we don't have trash players, right? I don't think Nate Wiggins is a trash player. I don't think Roquan's a trash player. He's not playing up to the level that we want him to play, but I don't think he's a trash player. I don't think our rookies, Mike Green and Malachi Starks, are trash. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton isn't trash, right? Travis Jones isn't trash. We have a lot of good players on that side of the ball, a lot of talented players. They just weren't put in the. I don't want to call Zach Orr trash. I got a lot of respect for Zach Orr, but we did not have good coaching. All right, we did not have good coaching. That was the main reason right there. But yeah, man. But I hear what you're saying. Like this purge on offense. And I hear what both of y'all saying. You got a new coaching staff in there. They should be able to bring their own guys in, but you're not bringing anybody in. That's the problem, right? You pretty much kept the defensive players intact, and you're like, hey, we got to make some sacrifices. It has to be on offense. And I can even get along with all those moves. Pat Ricard, cool. If Jesse Minter doesn't use a fullback, then Pat Ricard has no use here. He can go, right? You don't want to bring back Isaiah Likely. You want to go on a different route with your tight ends altogether. You don't want to bring back Charlie Kolar. Cool. The only reason Andrews is still here because he was already signed before Jesse Minter got here. I get that. But what I don't get is a John Simpson signing. That's what I don't get. You don't bring back Tyler Linderbaum. All right, you don't want to pay that much money for a center. All right, cool. You have to get somebody else. And you can't start with John Simpson. Right? Like B said it earlier. You don't want to pay $27 million for Tyler Linderbaum, $27 million a year. But you're paying $23 million a year for Mark Andrews and John Simpson. Make that make sense. Right? The Ravens do this stuff all the time. We look at one person and say, that's too much money for that person. But you look at some of the other moves that they make on this team, and they're already wasting that money. They're not a fiscally responsible team. They're just tricking y'all, right? Hey, what's going on? Jermaine Lockett from Couch Rider Raven. What's going on? Says, think they are working something for AJ Brown now. I don't know. So there was a report that they were in on trying to trade for AJ Brown, but you get these reports all the time. The Ravens always throw these out there like, hey, we were interested in this person, just couldn't make it happen. I think a lot of times it's BS, but if the reason why they nixed this deal for Maxx Crosby is because Lamar wouldn't sign, and if the reason why Lamar wouldn't sign is he didn't like what he was seeing, how the team, was going on with the team, then maybe, right? If this is what it's going to take to get Lamar to sign, because that's what's happening right now. The deadline is 4:00 tomorrow to get under the cap. They want this Lamar deal to happen. Steve Bisciotti made that clear. If I'm EDC, I'm on the phone with Lamar right now saying, okay, what do you need from me? Right? The money isn't the problem. We've already established you're going to be paid the highest paid NFL player in history. So what else do you need? You need to see me make some moves on offense? Cool. Maxx Crosby ain't coming here anymore. I'm getting on the phone with Howie Roseman and saying, let's make this deal happen right now. Let's not get off the phone until we work this out. That's what I'm saying. And we'll find out really soon. If you see AJ Brown here, then you know exactly what happened. We don't need to hear any report from Diana Rossini or Ian Rappaport or anything like that. You know exactly what happened. And appreciate the super chat, Couch Rider. Appreciate that. Who else we got in here? House, I see what's going on. Stretch says, if I'm the Eagles, why would I trade with you after you just nixed the deal and got GM saying it's BS on your part? Why it didn't go through? Yeah, I hear you. Well, that depends on your relationship with the GM, right? Because most of the time, which is why you typically don't see too many trades happen, is most of the time GMs only work with GMs that they know, people that they know, for these type of reasons, right? Somebody that they trust, somebody that they know isn't going to screw them over. So, yeah, I'm sure there's some teams looking at what the Ravens did and said, I ain't working with them. But from what I understand, EDC and Howie Roseman do know each other pretty well. So that's somebody he could go to and say, hey, look, I ain't, that ain't work out. This will work out. You know I'm good for it. And he can say, okay, fine, send those picks and I'll send you AJ Brown. Right. That could happen. That could happen. 225 people in here. Okay. Hit that like button. I said I'm not going to be here long. I can't be here long because I gotta do this morning stream in a few hours. I gotta set that up. Also gotta set up the LBHT show tomorrow night. So make sure you guys turn your notification bells on for that. Will the Raiders have all they need to get under the cap by tomorrow with this trade failing? That is a good question. Make sure you guys subscribe to Couch Rider Raven too. Couch Rider Raven is the name of the channel. Drop your link if you can. I'm not sure if they'll let you do it, but drop your link in the chat. Will they be under the cap? Because that's like $30 million back on their books. And I know they were making some moves. First of all, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of money to spend. So this may not hurt them. Actually, this might work out in their favor. They got Tyler Linderbaum. They got Maxx Crosby back. They still have their number 1 overall pick. It might just work out. But I'm not sure what other moves they made. If they made too many moves, too many signings, this could be an issue. This could be an issue. That would be something, though, right? That would be something if they just can't afford to keep him and Linderbaum, and one of them just has to get cut, or somebody just doesn't get. Well, technically, Linderbaum isn't signed yet. They agreed to the deal. He hasn't been signed. Wouldn't that be something? Sheesh. Oh, thank you, Danny. Danny says, thank you all for the 100 likes. Hit the like and subscribe button. Super chat is available. Cash App, $ LBHTShow. Hashtag road to 4K. Indeed. In fact, let me make sure I'm getting Cash Apps in here, because B is not here to let me know that I have them. House says there are still over $40 million in cap space. Oh, they still have over $40 million in cap space. So yeah, they're good. They're good. Sancho, what's going on? Says, hell no, it's not gonna hurt. Yeah. They got money. They got money. Raiders will have to trade Crosby anyway, and other teams will be able to fleece them, knowing they might be desperate. That's interesting though. How do you trade somebody that failed a physical? Right? If the Ravens say he failed a physical and another team makes a trade and says he passed our physical, that's something that's going to have to be addressed at some point, maybe next year at the owners meeting. There has to be some sort of standard for these physicals. It can't be, well, my doctor cleared them, my doctor didn't clear them, right? It should be a standard. What's the issue? And is it an issue that's going to prevent them from playing? If the answer is no, and it clearly is no, then you got to clear him. If the answer is yes, then he doesn't get cleared. There's got to be some sort of standard that has to be addressed. And a high profile transaction like this will cause them to revisit that. Right. Let's see who else we got here. Famous guy, what's going on? Says EDC claim we don't go after free agency because we draft guys and he hit 60%. If that was the case, then our drafted players should be locked into deals after year 3, but they don't. Who said 60%? We are far from 60%. I don't know who said that. EDC said that? Then he's lying. He is far from that. Maybe 25%, maybe. And that's because of that one class that just went and signed elsewhere. That's where most of his success happened. The 2022 draft class, I believe. Outside of that, not a whole lot of success. He's not good. He has not done a good job building this team. He'll be a Cowboy. Let's see. Report. What's up, Shug? Report just came out. Jags are offering first round and Brian Thomas for Maxx Crosby. I don't know how true that is, but hey, shoot your shot. Master B, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. It says embarrassing for the Ravens, EDC and EDC fans. Now watch him go to the Rams and Eagles and ball out. Max and Lamar were happy. EDC sucks. Yeah, we'll find out. Listen, this whole thing about Lamar needs to give money back. That's something that a poor organization would say. Right? If you need money, you have ways to get under the cap. You just don't want to touch the defense. Why is the defense so untouchable that you can't rework those contracts? And they came out earlier before the offseason started and said that they weren't going to rework any deals. Why? Why are you tying all your hopes to Lamar getting his deal done? And if you are tying all your hopes and dreams to Lamar getting his deal done, why aren't you doing exactly what he says? And I'm telling you, if they go in and make this trade for AJ Brown or whoever, there are other wide receivers I think would be available too. But they go out there and make a trade for a wide receiver, then we know Lamar said, "You're not doing enough. Go get me somebody." And all the props to him for doing that. That's how you use your leverage. Failed drug test. Ooh. What? Oh. I don't think, but Maxx Crosby hasn't had any issues with drug tests, right? I know he had an alcohol problem. He went to rehab for that. But I haven't heard anything about him failing drug tests or anything like that. So I wouldn't make that assumption. But damn, what if that was the case? Sheesh. Yeah, Marlon and Roquan for sure. Yes, Marlon, Roquan, and Matabike. Those three can rework their contracts. B was reading it on, I think it was Over the Cap, one of those places. Restructuring those deals can open up for close to $40 million, I believe. So why aren't we doing that? A couple of them, like Marlon, you can cut and save money. So it's easy for them to get under the cap. We are 12. Well, we were 12 million over the cap. That was accounting for Maxx Crosby's deal, but that's not a thing anymore. I'm not sure where we're at now with the cap, but assuming we kept Maxx Crosby, would have been $12 million over the cap. You do those restructures and you're under the cap. Simple. You add the void years like you said you're going to do to Lamar's deal, you get under the cap. So I don't know. This has been a very interesting offseason to say the least. But that one, listen, man, that's tough. That's tough. You're expecting to have an elite player like that to help bolster your defense, and it was taken away because of failed physical that nobody believes truly happened. That is Be more Mark, salute. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the super chats. I just want to say, man, like, hey, you clearly got $5 in your pocket, man. Go over to patreon.com/LBHTShow. That pin link that you see in the chat box gets you a month subscription to our Patreon and get access to our overtime show that happens every Wednesday after our main show. It's a lot of fun. All right. Lamar Jackson's money will only go up. Don't blame EDC for players failing the physical. Um, no, I'm not blaming EDC for him failing the physical. Um, but it's fair to question whether he actually failed the physical, though. You know what I mean? Like like that. It's fair to question the legitimacy of the physical. It just seems, I don't know. I don't know. It could. I mean, it could very well be the case, but with this organization, I don't trust it. I would question it for sure. Uh, JD Ajayi. Oh, JD Ajayi, I think is how you say it. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Max, Pat, Adarius, Linderbaum, and likely all gone. EDC backstab Baltimore 5 times in the last 72 hours. We need to run him out of town seriously. Whew, man. I hear y'all. I hear everything y'all saying. Man. Yeah, I'm just letting y'all vent, man. I'm just, this is just a quick reaction. Get off your chest. We're gonna be back here tomorrow morning. We're gonna talk about more tomorrow morning. We're gonna talk even more about it on the LBHT show, because by then we will know whether or not Lamar is going to extend or not. And by then, I suspect there'll be some other moves done one way or another. This is going to be a very interesting day tomorrow. So get ready for that. We're getting Hendrickson, aren't we? I don't know. The stars are aligning for Trey Hendrickson to be a Raven. And I think if we started with Trey Hendrickson, that'd have been more acceptable to fans, because Hendrickson is a good player. Let's not gloss over that. Trey Hendrickson is a good edge rusher. Very good edge rusher, in fact. But going from Maxx Crosby, who we all consider to be a better edge rusher, down to Trey Hendrickson, right, leaves a little sour taste in your mouth a little bit. But if we get Trey Hendrickson in combination with AJ Brown, I think that's excellent, right? If we go and get some good guards, or we draft a good guard, I think we've gotten extremely better. So it's not all doom and gloom. This team could still be very, very good, or it could be a disaster. We don't know, but you should flame Eric DaCosta. You should question him. You should do all those things, because it's not even about this offseason. It's about 8 years of this nonsense, right? That's why you guys are all upset right now. It's not this particular move that's got you upset. It's the last 8 years of him and John Harbaugh wasting your time, and it's just come to a boiling point. That's the reaction that you guys are having right now. Clyde, what's going on? Thank you for the super chat. Says, why some Ravens fans want Lamar to leave? If you don't want Lamar here, then y'all find another team. Lamar is here to stay. Yeah, I don't think Lamar's going anywhere. They're just mad because they feel that this deal fell apart because they don't have the cap space, and they don't have the cap space because Lamar is the only player on the team that can give them cap relief. That's crazy. We just named 3 players on defense that you could easily redo their deals, and you got the cap space like that, but you can't touch them. That's wild. That's wild. Danny, what's going on? She says, weekly show tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. That's right. That's the LBHT show. Also, the morning show at 6:15 a.m. Don't miss it, and join us for an explosive new episode tomorrow night. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. Joshua Ajayi, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. Daryl says, Lamar winning a Super Bowl, hope just went down the drain. I don't think it went down the drain. Not yet. First of all, if Lamar is healthy, you have hope. It just feels yucky right now today. First of all, Maxx Crosby wasn't changing our trajectory to go to the Super Bowl or not, right? He helps on the defense, doesn't do anything for the offense. John Simpson, that was bad. That was bad. But there's still some good moves to be made out there. If they make those moves, yeah, absolutely. I could see us making a run for the Super Bowl. This is bad, but it's not the end of the world. It's not. Add to Pop, what's going on? EDC and John are still working together. I think EDC wants to reunite with John on the Giants. Okay. I can see that attitude, Pop. I can see that. They're close friends. They're best friends. Right? Be more Mark, another super chat. Appreciate that. Says Lamar is under contract. He can't leave. Facts. I don't think he wants to leave. He's doing exactly what I would do if I were in his situation. I don't want to go anywhere, right? But I want them to start showing me some respect because they haven't been showing him the respect. 2-time MVP, but you don't want to invest in the O-line. This team has never invested in the O-line. He's had a good O-line before, but that's not the O-line that Eric DeCosta put together. That's the O-line that Ozzie Newsome put together, right? Once Marshall Yonder retired, it fell downhill from there, right? We traded away Orlando Brown. Why are you doing that? You don't draft Creed Humphrey. I want to remind y'all, we could have just drafted Creed Humphrey. Nope, we drafted Owe instead. And then don't resign Owe. Just saying. These are the moves that they made. Never invested in the O-line. They progressively got worse and worse and worse. And you can see he was visibly upset about it last year, right? You only take them hits for so long before it wears on you. And I feel like I said, if that were me and I'm looking at this offseason and you need me to redo my deal, I'm straight up asking you, how are you going to protect me? Like, tell me the plan. What are you going to do? The same way you brought me in on the interviews for all the coaches and you kept me involved in the hiring process. I want to be a part of the process when you're looking at these old linemen. Because if you tell me, hey, we're looking to bring back John Simpson, I'm going to tell you, hell no. We've already tried that. He doesn't protect me. Try somebody else. Right? Or we got to sit down with the whole coaching staff and you have to show me the plan of how John Simpson is going to fit better in this scheme. Right? I bet you they didn't do that though. They just went ahead, trade for Maxx Crosby. Hey, we got Maxx Crosby. Okay, cool. So who we signing tomorrow? John Simpson. Oh, okay. What about wide receiver? You gonna give me a wide receiver? Nah. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and honor my contract. Right? I'm not doing anything. This is a contract that you wrote up for me, and I'm honoring the contract. Right? You need money, get it somewhere else. That's all he said, and that's exactly what I would do. Donovan, appreciate another super chat, says, I wasn't expecting a Super Bowl this season anyway. Rebuild. Okay. That's fair. I think we can compete for a Super Bowl if we make the right moves, even this year. But if we don't make it this year, that's fine too. Right? It's not the end of the world. But a 2-year window, I think we got to win a Super Bowl. Wandering Raven, thank you for a super chat. Appreciate y'all, man. These super chats are coming in fast. Appreciate that. Curious to see if the mainstream turn on EDC, losing almost all his free agents, and now his ineptness is on full display. Things can change, but I have no faith in him. Yeah, the Linderbaum one was probably the biggest one. Isaiah Likely, it sucks, but he just didn't have a full role here, right? So I would say that impact isn't as bad just because he wasn't a starter, right? I think he's good. I think he's better than Mark Andrews at this point, but that wasn't as big of an impact. Pat Ricard, again, I don't think that's that big of an impact if the new scheme doesn't call for a fullback and we don't use a fullback, not as big of an impact. Keaton Mitchell, I think that sucks, but obviously we have King Henry, so again, not as big of an impact. All these things together, though, add up. They do add up. But if you look at it and saying, hey, we want to purge some of these guys, we want to bring in our own guys, we have a different vision for the team, I can get with that. But it can't start with John Simpson. That's all I'm saying. It cannot start with John Simpson. And if you're not making moves, which is what it seems like, if you're not making moves because you're afraid of not being able to get under the cap, then there are some things, some clear things that you can do to get under the cap that don't involve Lamar Jackson, and you're not doing that. That is the problem with EDC right now. That's what he should be doing. He should be Marlon Humphrey is the first person you should be calling and saying, Marlon Humphrey, Marlon, if you want to stay, rework your deal. Otherwise, we got to designate you as a post June 1st cut. Right. Roquan, I think we can do the same thing with Roquan as well. Right? Is get down or lay down right now. Okay. That's what it needs to be. Give up some money or you gotta go. Matt BK, I don't think I don't think you can just straight up cut him. I think we'll have too much of dead cap there, but you can rework the deal and you can rework it in a way to where he doesn't necessarily take a pay cut, but he can give us some cap relief. So they need to get creative with that. I know they weren't planning on touching anybody on defense, but now it's time to start planning for that. And him and Sashi Brown can work that out. X says, honestly, Jose, if we trade Lamar, we get so many first rounders. Not the worst idea. No, it is the worst idea. None of those first rounders will be Lamar Jackson. I mean, how many years do you got to see the Browns, the Jets, the Raiders pick at the top of the draft and not have any success for you to get that? Having first rounds doesn't guarantee you success. Having a generational player like Lamar Jackson will get you at least a level of success. But trading Lamar and you can get 5, 6, 7 first round picks, and we could suck for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. That is a terrible idea, bro. Be more Mark. Thank you again for another super chat. Says Lindenbaum is making 50% more money than the average center. Did you want to pay that price? No, I didn't want to pay that price. Would I have paid that price? Yeah, I would have paid it. And we be talking about it, and people saying, "Oh, you're paying that much for a center. Can't believe you pay that much for a center." But we would have our center, and by the time the season comes around, we wouldn't be talking about how much he's getting paid. He would just be out there playing, right? Now, $27 million a year. I would say, yeah, that's a lot. That you could say that's too much. But again, like Brodney pointed out earlier, we're paying $23 million right now for Mark Andrews and John Simpson. Is that worth it? This team wastes so much money. They waste so much money on bad moves like that. We like giving Linderbaum $27 million. At least I know he can play. Right? We're paying John Simpson $10 million a year, and we hope he doesn't play. We hope that we draft players that can just flat out beat him. That's what we spent $10 million on. Complete waste of money. $13 million on Mark Andrews, who is declining, and we have no expectations of him being the Mark Andrews of old. That's $23 million right there, and we don't even expect good play from those guys. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, hit that like button. Listen to Magic, y'all. Hit that like button. Appreciate y'all. 259 people in here. Wow. You guys are mad. I can't. Man, I've been here for almost an hour. I said I wasn't going to be here long. I still got to set up these shows, man. Make sure y'all come check out the morning shows too. We stream live in 2 places, here and the Road Pod. So make sure you subscribe to both channels. Trading Lamar Jackson for first rounders is crazy. I know. Let's see. Death Moth, what's going on? Says, why are we waiting until the absolute last second to sign players? Lindy should have been extended last year. Facts. You either pick up the 5th year option or you extend him. But this is something else that we do a lot, and it's infuriating. You don't have to let it get to this point. And this is something that the Ravens have always been bad at, even with Ozzie Newsome. They think they understand the market better than anybody, but in reality, they always get it wrong. Right? They were thinking, okay, we'll let his contract play out, and then we'll get him re-signed. We'll offer him, a good amount of money, but what we think is fair, and he'll sign it. And he said, no, actually, I can make more money in free agency. And he was trying to call him and his agents bluff, right? Now, granted, me and Hendo were talking about it, and it looked like it could have worked in the Ravens' favor because, Connor McGovern, I think probably like the next best center available, signed for $13 million a year. So now you're looking at that like, oh, maybe the price is going down. Maybe they played it right. Nope, $27 million. You wouldn't have had to go through all this if you had just extended him last year. If a player is willing to extend and not hit free agency, whatever they ask for is going to be worth it, because whatever they're making at that time is that's going to get beat either that offseason or the following offseason. So $27 million is high now. By next offseason, that's going to be the going price for centers. That's how it works. And the alternative is we don't have a center because we're so fixated on this guy making $27 million. But what's the answer at center? Elton Jenkins, the guy that the Packers cut, just signed with the Browns. We missed out on him. And he's a Pro Bowl center. We could have gotten that. Didn't happen. So now what's the answer at center? That's why you got to sign them. If you got to overpay, you got to overpay. But not protecting Lamar is not an answer because you want to save some money. Let's see. Urban says with a restructure for Marlon or Roquan and an extension of Lamar, you can sign who you need on O-line and have enough for the draft class and possibly more free agents. Yeah. Paying $23 million to a wide receiver 3 is how you set a franchise back. Yeah. You're talking about Bateman. There's a lot of, I call it fast food. We make these little deals that we've like, oh yeah, it's that's a steal. We got him for a good deal. We got this player for a good deal. We got this player for a good deal. We got that player for a good deal. But that's fast food, right? When you're looking at your finances at the end of the month, you're like, why I don't have any money? Oh, because you went to McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and all these places every other day, and you have nothing to show for it, right? That's what we do a lot in Baltimore. You're making all these little deals with players that you can't really rely on, and you have nothing to show for it, and you're like, where's the money? Then you end up with diabetes. Yeah, Suge. Yeah. Florio's cooking EDC. I can't stand Florio. Florio is a dirtbag. Basically saying EDC had buyer's remorse and looked for a reason to back out. I do kind of feel that's what happened. But I don't know for certain. God's favorite says maybe in 2 to 3 years, Jose, but Raiders about 2 years premature and he'll be a free agent in 3. Maybe, but if he keeps if he keeps their rookie quarterback upright, what does it matter? Right? Like, okay, maybe they're 2 years premature and he'll just be the highest paid center for the next 2 years. If he plays at a high level and he's protecting his quarterback, and you don't hear about the quarterback getting blown up every other snap, then mission accomplished. We will never talk about this again. Right? Like, we talk about these contracts in the off season when there's no football going on. Once the season starts, we don't talk about the contracts anymore. The Panthers just did this. They overpaid for 2 guards. Everybody talking about how much they overpaid for those guards. Can't tell you how much they got paid today. I know they have a very good O-line. Julio Jones. You guys remember when Julio Jones got drafted? Atlanta Falcons gave up everything to trade up to get him. I can't remember what they gave up. Right? It's a lot in the moment, but you get the right player, you never remember what you gave to get them, because whatever you gave up is completely worth it. DDSQ says cap goes up every year. 27 million is less than 10% of the cap. Yeah. 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 You have to get the protection right. And I would have been okay. It's not again, it's not that you didn't sign Linderbaum. It's not that. I said that before. I'm okay if you let him go as long as you have a plan to make the O-line better as a whole. As a whole. So let's take Tyler Linderbaum out of it. Fine. $20 million, too much money. We don't want to pay that. Cool. How are you making the O-line better? That's all I want to know. And you started that answer with John Simpson. Wrong answer. You should be alarmed by that. The O-line, as bad as it was last year, is even worse right now today. So I know that Maxx Crosby news is shocking and jarring, but this is the more pressing issue, is fixing that O-line. And I don't see this GM having any answers to fix that. What's going on, Imani? Says Reed should are you talking about Shador? Shador's latest tweet? I don't know. What did he say? I didn't see that. I didn't see it. What Shador saying? Will G says, "Oh yeah, Jose, Pittsburgh just got a lot more dangerous with Pitt. Pittman. Yeah, Michael Pittman Jr. That was a good move. That's a move we should have made. I mean, they still need a quarterback, so I ain't too worried. Let's see. Raiders trying to play hardball, saying they're trying to just get him healthy, which means he did fail the physical. I'm not sure. I mean, I would assume that more information will come out about this. I don't know, right? I could see both things. I could see him maybe not being 100%, and I could also see that the Ravens just got cold feet. I really don't know. Chef Spicy Rice says, I was in the Trust EDC camp, not because he's a great GM by any means, but I believe that they had a plan. Now I'm not so sure. Well, Chef, listen, I don't know what you saw over the last 8 years to make you trust EDC, but I don't trust EDC. Right? I root for EDC, and I still do, right? Which is why I'm saying we can still turn it around, and we can, right? He can still turn it around, but I don't trust EDC. Hell no. He hasn't. All he's earned is distrust. That's all he's earned. And Steve Bisciotti, because Steve Bisciotti has let this happen for too long. Right? What is needed to get George Pickens? Well, they franchise tagged him. So what? 2 first-round picks? Adam Schefter says the failed physical was cat. Well, Adam Schefter, he could be telling the truth or he could be lying. He got called out by Mike Florio the other day. We talked about that, right? So who knows? Who knows? This is a mess, though. This is an absolute mess. And whether it's legit or not, Ravens fans are on your neck, EDC. So I know you're up. I know you're watching somebody's stream. It may not be my stream, but this, you're watching. If you happen to, click through YouTube and you land over here, you better be working those phones, man. You have your 2 first-round picks back. You better be working those phones. I highly suggest it's for AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, one of those guys. You better pull off that deal. You tell Lamar, I got you your weapon. Go ahead and get this deal signed. Let's do this now. and then proceed with the rest of the offseason and make all the right moves. Because every move from this day forward better be the right move. Like you are out of bad moves. You used up all your PTO, all your sick time, everything. It is time to get to work. Steven Ritter, what's going on? Says, listen, y'all dipping out of Crosby is a smart move. He's a maybe 10 sack guy, injury prone. 2 first-round picks for him is getting took. He's worth maybe a second. Don't be down, guys. You won. Hey, I'm assuming you're a Raiders fan. I mean, listen, like fans of those teams have more insight on these players, right? You might be right about that, but man, he's good. He it's more than just the sacks, right? Like he can play the run. There's the same thing when Matt Judon was here. Ravens fans didn't want to keep Matt Judon. They say he wasn't worth the money because he didn't get double-digit sacks. But I'm like, yeah, but Matt Judon does everything. And as soon as he left, what was he? A double-digit sack guy. So the talent was there. It was just our scheme, really, that was keeping him from getting those sacks. But he played the run. He did everything. Maxx Crosby can do that too. So it's more than just that. But maybe 2 first-round picks is a bit much. And maybe EDC had time to really digest that. He realized he gave up too much. He's a little anxious. And also maybe that upset Lamar Jackson. Maybe it didn't, right? Maybe Lamar said, not upset him, but maybe he looked at that and said, I still haven't done anything for Lamar. He's not getting this deal done. And I don't have any more money. So I have to back out this deal and try to make another deal happen. If he did that, good for him. Good for him. If he said, hey, this is going to be slimy, it's going to feel slimy, but I have to back out this deal so I can get this AJ Brown deal done, then you did what you had to do. And that was the right move. And if Lamar's holding out to make sure that EDC gets him weapons and protection, hell yeah. It shouldn't have to come to this, but that's what happens when you're dealing with a bad GM. You got to twist their arm. See, Will agrees. He says, yep, Jose, you can't play the run with a torn meniscus. Yeah. You can't bust like we expect Max to do. I just hope this is extreme injury concern and not backing out because of the 2 first rounders. Yeah, I hope so too. I don't like bad business moves like this. Even though I said, hey, look, if you backed out and just to get the AJ Brown deal done, yes, you're doing what you got to do. It's slimy. It shouldn't have come to that, but it's a bad look. But you know what? If you're EDC and you've been making a lot of bad looks all this time, it is what it is. You know what? Honestly, I don't feel any way about it. If you're willing to collude as a league against Lamar Jackson getting his money, then nothing's off the table. We got over 300 people in here right now. Salute to y'all, man. Salute to y'all. Hit that like button. If you're new in here, hit that subscribe button. All right. Y'all are really upset. It's almost 11 o'clock though, so I got to get out of here because I still got to set up the 2 streams tomorrow. We got 2 streams going on. Actually, 3 streams. We got the morning show, Jose and Hendo in the morning. You can watch right here or on the Road Pod, 6:15 a.m. We have the LBHT show at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. And right after the show is over, which will probably be like around 9:30-ish, maybe a little bit earlier, you can hit us up on patreon.com/LBHTShow for the overtime show. All right. So a lot going on tomorrow. Make sure you're locked in. And Bazel, appreciate another gifted membership. Who got the membership here? Slim. Salute to Slim. Congratulations. So for the channel members, all you got to do is tomorrow around noonish is usually when I post the link for the overtime show. Obviously, it won't go live until after the LBHT show is done, but that's where you can find it in our community tab. I believe is where it's posted. All right. So, yes, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Check it out. Check it out. Let's see. Stretch says, sounds like it's just our medical staff. Rossini said it's up to teams, individual medical staff to decide moving forward with the trade again. Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's a medical opinion, and if you're looking at it, because 2 first-round picks is a lot, and you want to pay them a lot of money. If you look at it, and it's like, this is bad, and it's not getting better, right? I might want to back out. Right? A degenerative knee, 29 years old. That's tough. So I don't know. We have a couple more comments and we'll get out of here. Will says, we was looking at what it will look like with our defense scheme and Kyle in the box next to Mad Max, Matabike, and Green being a free rusher when protection slides. Yes. But you can do those things with Trey Hendrickson. So okay, let me ask y'all. If we get Trey Hendrickson, I know it's like a consolation prize, but are you that mad? Like, do you hate Trey Hendrickson? Do you think he sucks? Right? Like, he can play. We can do those things with Trey Hendrickson if we get him. And guess what? If we don't get him, I think we're still okay. Right? We just saw the Seahawks get busy in the Super Bowl, all season, and they don't have they don't have a Maxx Crosby caliber edge rusher on the team. All right, like we have guys. Listen, what's the term? We like our guys. Okay, we got Mike Green at home. All right, we got Mike Green at home. Y'all love Mike Green in the second round last year. Loved him. Well, he's still here. Let him cook. All right. We can get somebody in a second or third round if you want to get another edge rusher. Yep, Chubb. Bradley Chubb is out there. All right. Oh, you rather get Chubb over Hendrickson? Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Mike Green and who else? Well, we just said it. You just said it, Jay. We just said it. Adisa Isaac is still there. All right. Bring in Chubb or who else? Somebody in the draft. Hey, the same answer that you were given that people were giving us for, not you, but same answer that people were giving us for the O-line. Apply that to the edge rusher group. Right? When I say, hey, what's the answer at center? And I still wonder, who y'all like at center at this point? Who do y'all like at center? That's the bigger question. Who do you like at center? What about guard? Because John Simpson doesn't fix the O-line. So who do you like at guard? Right? Whatever you guys were going to give for that, apply that to edge rusher. Tavius Robinson, a good situational rusher. Yeah. Isaac can't stay off of IR. True. I actually saw him. Me and Hendo saw him at practice over the summer. He looked pretty good. He just can't stay healthy. Let's see. YNG Bruce is laughing my butt off. Y'all keep saying wide receiver with no O-line. Well, no, we need both. For sure, we need both. Definitely. Right. But in terms of trading for somebody, hey, if we could trade it for a good O-line, I'm with that too. But like the players that have been pushed out there that we've been tied to, AJ Brown, obviously, right? We can do that, and there's still guards out there that we can sign in free agency without even having to go, trade or draft anybody. Batonio and Teller are two of the main ones to look out for. Zeitler's still out there too. He's older, but better than John Simpson. I'll tell you that. And Graven, what's going on? Says crazy times, man. Yeah, yeah, but there's still hope. It's crazy right now, but this team can still be stacked given everything that's happened. It all depends on what moves are made moving forward. But EDC cannot make any more, he can't have any more slip ups. No more slip ups. Every move that he makes moving forward needs to be the right move, including the draft. But it's possible he can do it. If he's the GM that some of y'all think he is, it'll happen. What GMs are available in the first round? What GMs? There are no GMs available in the first round. Zeitler at guard. Yeah, I like Zeitler. Josh, what's going on? Josh Hoffman, appreciate you coming through. Says they paid Simpson like a starter. It's only been 1 day, but this offseason is an F- so far. Yeah, but that's what I was saying before, right? When we were talking about Linderbaum and not wanting to pay him $27 million. I hear you, but you just paid $10 million for a guard that we all hope doesn't play. We paid $13 million for a tight end of Mark Andrews that we all believe is on the decline and has never performed in the playoffs. So you paid $23 million on 2 players that you don't particularly think are that good. But we don't want to pay $27 million for a center that we know is good. We waste money around here, man. We waste money. Is that IB saying? That is IB saying. What's going on? Yes, hashtag defund the defense. Yes. Vega and Zeitler. Oh, that would be. I would be very interested in that. Which has priority? O-line or wide receiver? O-line. O-line has priority. Right. But like I said when we traded for Maxx Crosby, who's bringing stuff up there? The sequence in which these things happen don't have to be in the sequence which I want it to be, right? Like I would like to see them get O-line first before they make any other move. But you made the Maxx Crosby trade first. That was fine to me, right? I just need to see those things happen for the O-line and wide receiver as well for me to feel all the way comfortable with it. When I see you sign John Simpson, that ain't good, right? But yes, O-line is priority. If they get the wide receiver first and then they wait till the draft to get an O-lineman, that's fine. But we have to fix that. We have to. They say Lamar was mad and ready to ask for a trade after he saw his offense get scrapped. Who said that though? You know, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk out there. I'm not sure if that stuff is really true. But I'll tell you what, we're going to find out some of these things tomorrow at 4:00 p.m. Right? Whether he extends or not, that's going to be very telling. If he extends and we also trade for a wide receiver, that's going to be very, very telling. Right? Lamar wasn't budging until he fixed the offense. EDC thought he was going to get Lamar to sign before Wednesday. That's what it feels like. It feels like EDC wasn't taking Lamar seriously, and he thought, oh, okay, I got this in the bag. He's going to sign. Conversations have been good, and I can go ahead and make this trade, and I'm going to trade for Maxx Crosby instead of AJ Brown. And if you think about it, before the Maxx Crosby trade, at least for me, you know, maybe my timeline is off. It seemed like they were inquiring about AJ Brown before Maxx Crosby. Is that correct? I think I heard that they were, you know, they're one of the teams, them, Ravens, Patriots, I think somebody else were in on AJ Brown. That was before the Maxx Crosby trade. So if you're telling Lamar, hey, we're trying to get I said Max, yeah. If you tell Lamar we're trying to get AJ Brown, and you end up with Maxx Crosby, those are two completely different things. Those are two completely different things. And then you turn around and say, Hey, okay, look, don't worry. We got a plan. We're gonna take care of you. And then you go and sign John Simpson. Like I said earlier, that sounds like an open diss, right? Like that's a straight up diss, right? No subliminal shot or nothing. That's a straight up, hey, I'm dissing you. I'm calling you out. That's what it feels like. And if Lamar took it as disrespect, all right, man. Well, you know, good luck getting under the cap. Get your money somewhere else. But we will find out very shortly, within hours, in fact. There will definitely be a way to blame Lamar for this whole thing. Watch, they already started, Josh. They already saying, hey, how come Lamar hasn't extended? How come he hasn't given this team cap relief? Because he doesn't have to. And if they really want to get under the cap, get it from the defense. There are 3 players in particular that you can get it from: Matabike, Roquan, Marlon Humphrey. You can restructure their deals if you really need to get under the cap, but you don't want to touch their contracts. You want to mess with Lamar. Well, if you need Lamar that bad, give him what he wants. Let's see. What else we got here? Howie is going to make EDC kiss the ring in order to get AJ. He better pucker up. Living legend, what's going on? Salute to you. Appreciate you coming through. All right, man. It's been over an hour. It's past 11 o'clock. I need to finish setting up for tomorrow and get to bed because it's gonna be also. Hey, it's my son's birthday tomorrow. Okay, the assistant producer that you see at the end in the credits, Jacob, it's his birthday tomorrow. He turns 11. So early happy birthday to him. He's actually still up because I'm letting him stay home tomorrow from school. So he's up playing Minecraft or something. I don't know. So he's already started his celebration. Pucker up is wild. Perfect one. Thank you. Appreciate that. Man, you guys are still coming in here. True Libra, fire EDC now. Oh man, thank you, Danny. Yes, happy early birthday. Yes, that's my little guy right there. That's my little guy. All right. I'm getting out of here, man. If y'all get up early enough, come check out the morning show. All right. And if you don't get up early enough, check out the replay, and then tune in tomorrow night, 7:45 p.m. Eastern time for the LBHT show. We will be talking a lot about this. All right. So, if I didn't get to your comments or anything like that, in fact, let me make sure I didn't. Okay. So I'll make sure there's no Cash App there. Appreciate everybody that donated tonight, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate Bazel for gifting the memberships. If you like it, continue being a member or sign up on Patreon, patreon.com/LBHTShow. All right. Let me give y'all a little outro here if I can find it. Give me a second here. That's the intro, and that is the credits. See, this is what happens when I don't have my producer here and I don't have my brother here. I'm flying solo tonight, but all right. This is worse than a fake orgasm. You guys. Baseball Lifestyle says, tell Jacob wish for an O-line. I will tell him. All right. EDC is guilty. You guys, man. All right. Sleep on it. We'll see y'all in the morning and we'll talk about it more then. All right. Y'all have a great night. Peace.